Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to attempt to paint my car parts at home. I built this little enclosure, as you can see. It has an exhaust fan, got my lights set up. It's a beach tent, and I put some plastic drop cloth along the side of it. And for a door, I have a shear from the dollar store, just a curtain shear. So as you can see, it's not like a super airtight fit here. I'm just trying to help minimize overspray in my garage and also control dust as much as possible. I have fabric drop cloths on the floor. As you can see, there's my bumper. We have an exhaust. And once the paint has started to set, I have a heater just to bring the temperature up in here so that I can dry reasonably fast. So overall, I'm hoping this works out well. I bought the right equipment to try painting at home. I'm going to turn the fan on to show you what happens to the inside. So the idea with that shear is if it does pull air in, it does have to breathe and pull air in, at least it won't be very dusty air. And with the fan on here, you can see the sides pull in, they kind of bubble out. You can see enough room to paint. I bought all the stuff I'm gonna need to paint. PPG shop line. I got tack cloths, mixing cups, stir sticks, filters, reducer, base coat, hardener, wax and grease remover, everything for about $230, tax in. And I got it mixed to the exact color of my car. I purchased some acetone for cleaning the gun, a paint suit, gloves, and a proper respirator for painting. I purchased a compressor for $199. And if you look at the specs here, it's 20 gallons and it's 5.2 CFM at 40 PSI. I plan to paint it around 25 PSI with an HVLP gun. So if you look at the specs, you can do so with this type of tank. It says HVLP painting, high velocity, low pressure painting. You can't go continuous, you can go intermittent. So you just want to basically wait for it. It won't cycle very often because it's a 20-gallon tank and it's low pressure that we're demanding, but we can do it. The gun I got has I got a desiccant filter for moisture control. I got a long hose. And we have the gun itself. It's an HVLP gun. It's a newer technology gun that uses less pressure overall. Max pressure on this is 40 PSI, but the main consideration is it will paint at 4 CFM, which is relatively low. I'm going to be able to supply close to 6 CFM while painting. So that's what's going to give you good atomization and good coverage. I'm painting a rear bumper, that hood over there, the bumper in the booth, and a couple side skirts. Now with this compressor, I should have spent maybe $550 total with all the supplies, everything I'm gonna need. But I walk away with the compressor that I get to keep at the end. I'm probably spending similar money as I would to at a shop, considering I did all the prep work myself. If I didn't do the prep work and I just dropped these off rough, they'd probably charge me 300 bucks a bumper, maybe $340 for that hood. You know, I would have been spending $1,000 bucks, but I did a lot of prep work. Hopefully this works out. I got the right quality paint to do this, and I thought this would be an interesting video for you guys. If you have enough room in your garage and you want to try to make an enclosure like that, it can be relatively cost effective. I have that fan exhausting the air out, and then I have another fan which will push the air outside the garage. Now excuse the mess, I know it's super messy in here, but it's because I had to displace all this stuff to make room for this shelter. So I'm gonna get started with mixing up the paints. And one of the first steps is gonna be to apply wax and grease remover to the bumper, as well as use a tack cloth to remove any dust. So here's my wax and grease remover. Using a low lint towel. I've already cleaned this twice and I was still getting some dirt off of it. Next up, before painting, you want to use a tack rag to grab any loose pieces, any dust that could be on the surface. All right, so now we're ready to mix up the base coat.
Since we're doing base coat, I got a mixing cup and I'm gonna fill it to right here, which is 2 for base, and then we're gonna go up to this 2 here with the reducer. I overshot that a little bit, so I'll go to 3 now. It's hard not to spill when the can is full. It'll be easier later on. Kind of sucks to waste it because it's expensive, but. Now I'm bringing in my reducer, and we're gonna fill it up till we get to number 3 on the 1-to-1.
Now we'll unscrew our paint gun cap. Here's our filter. As you can see, it's got a screen in the bottom of it. Now let's fill up the gun. Okay, so I have my output at approximately 25 psi. I'm gonna get the gun connected and we'll see what type of spray pattern we can make. I got the 1.4 mil nozzle on here. I have the air regulator set to basically full open, as well as the shape and volume control. I've been watching some tutorials and they recommend that. If you get like a football shape on your cardboard, that means you're in pretty good shape. But let's check. Yeah, that looks perfect. Very good atomization. Right out the gate, it looks great. It's kind of what you want to see. So we're ready to paint. I'm gonna get suited up and then we'll start filming.
So that was going great and laying down very nicely, but I had a couple issues here. Paint fry up, I believe it's called. It's something to do with the paint that's underneath it reacting. I can try to sand this down and then make it level enough that I could spray some base over it and see if I can get away with not completely redoing the whole hood or whatnot. Or if it keeps coming back, then you know we're kind of out of luck and I'm gonna be out of base paint anyway. But I'm gonna try this, see what happens. So second go around, same story. I got that bubbling not all the way around. So the paint went on beautifully. It kind of went on like glass. Problem is I'm out of paint now. So I'm kind of confident that with this setup I can get good results here. But I have to sand that all off and I gotta go buy some new paint before I can continue on. But anyway, considering how nicely that went on as a base coat, just imagine how nice the clear will go on once we are ready for that. Unfortunately, we're not going to be ready for that with this. That's crap. I guess it's the primer I used, or maybe a reaction with the Bondo. I got to get some type of sealer primer or something to contain that. I'll show you the rest of the parts. So here's how we ended up with just the base on the side skirts. Here's the front bumper. I think once I lay that clear on there, it will even out and look quite nice. I think it's good enough that if it has that type of look on it with just the base, I think we'll get it dialed in pretty good. It's not going to be perfect, but acceptable, I would say. It's going to look pretty solid. So, and this rear bumper was in really good shape, so it took the paint well. Looks good. I just need to apply the clear coat on that. Okay, so fast forwarding a few days here, I did fix the issue, but what I had to do was sand down any of that wrinkled paint, and then I had to use some primer sealer on it, and then I got some more base coat, and this time I used less reducer, about 25% less reducer, just to make the paint a little bit less volatile. Resprayed this, and then I wet sanded it with 800 and then scuffed it with an 800 Brillo pad just to level everything out, because if you wait more than 24 hours from the time that you paint to the time you clear, you may not get proper adhesion. So this is an option for you. It helps level things out, and it's looking pretty good. I'm ready to spray clear at this point. And I didn't get that all on camera just because I was trying to figure out if I'm even going to be able to get this done at home, but it looks like we were successful now. As you can see, nice and level. So I'm going to mix up the clear now, and then we're going to go ahead and get this sprayed. About to mix up the clear. There's the ratio. It's 4:1. So I'm going to use this mixing cup here. And if you notice right here, it's a 4:1 to 0.5 ratio. I should be able to get 4 parts clear, 1 part hardener, and 0.5 parts reducer to help it go on a little bit better. So I'm gonna put about that much in there, and that'll get me to a 10% reducer approximately. Now I'm gonna go, I went to 6 there. I'm gonna put 1 part hardener, which is gonna be the next 6. Lastly, I have medium reducer. We're gonna go to the next 6. Now we're gonna mix this up. I'm gonna put that in my gun using a filter, and then we'll meet you in the booth once we're spraying.
Okay, so the paint's still drying at this point, but this is the result we got. Just got a few little dust particles, but nothing crazy. Those will easily wet sand and come out. I don't even think I need to color sand. I'm very happy with this. I don't see any noticeable amount of orange peel. That's the finish. It's pretty crazy. I'm pretty happy with that. So I was really determined to see if I can get a good finish at home, just to say I could do it. And that's what I did. It's quite amazing the kind of finish you can get with these new HVLP guns. The fact that they can run at 4 CFM air volume when they used to be like 9 CFM is really impressive. You can get a really good professional looking result. It may look a little exaggerated right now just because the camera is letting a little more light bounce off it than it should. But you know, it's not as much of a mirror finish as you're seeing on this camera right now. Pretty wild. I'm super happy. I think it looks awesome. So I'm going to conclude here because I got to get busy on painting my bumpers and side skirts so I can get you that M Sport conversion video. But yeah, this video shows you how to paint at home if you're willing to put the time in, and shows you that with a regular air compressor and a modern HVLP gun, you can get some pretty crazy results. So thanks for watching. The next video is going to be on the M Sport conversion.